guys, welcome back to my YouTube. It's reverse diet week 1. I haven't filmed any content throughout this week like I was doing with the dieting vlogs. To be honest, I finished the deficit and was like pretty dead. I find this always kind of happens when you're in a deficit and you're working really hard and then you get to the finish line. It's kind of like before you get sick and you're like going and then you stop and then that's when you get sick. It was kind of like I've been doing the deficit for 8 weeks now and I just needed to sort of stop filming all the time, stop thinking about everything that I was focusing on and just sort of be, and it was really nice. So let's jump in. I'm gonna keep this relatively short. I don't know why you're always in a playful mood when I'm YouTubing. So I mentioned in the previous video what the process was going to be with reverse dieting. So I've been following the incrementally increasing calories approach. For this last week, we've just added 200 calories. So I finished on 1440 calories. I didn't have to drop calories at all and have gone up to 1645 for the first week of my reverse diet. What you would expect to see would be a bit of a jump in the scales. You might see a decrease, you might just see it be consistently the same weight. It really depends person to person, and there's not really any sort of tight parameters I can give for you want to stay within this range. It could be just because people do vary so much, and women particularly with their water retention, where they're at in their cycle, because for me, this reverse has coincided with when I'm ovulating. And I don't know if you guys remember one of the previous vlogs during the deficit. When I ovulated, I came into a really stubborn scale period, so it just wasn't really showing on the scale. So I was sort of anticipating that that might affect what the scale readings were for the first week of the deficit. The first week of the reverse diet. So what's really important with the reverse diet, first and foremost, is obviously sticking to your calories, but secondly, making sure you're keeping up with your activity. So your daily steps, if you're doing extra cardio. I do find it really challenging, and I think a lot of people have a similar experience, when you change from being so focused on a deficit and watching the scales go down and seeing your body change in that way, to then focusing on a reverse, and then after the reverse, the maintenance period. It's kind of really mentally hard because you go from having a really clear and focused goal to feeling like you're sort of in this limbo phase. And it's definitely a perspective shift because all the magic kind of happens at maintenance, in my opinion. You're repairing your relationship with food, you've got more energy, you have the energy for your training sessions, your sleep's better. There's just a lot of benefits to eating at maintenance, and obviously that's what your body wants. But those things are very health centric, and a lot of people I find do enter deficits for unhealthy reasons, because they don't like what they look like or because they want to get the weight off quick. And I think it's just really important to recognize when you finish the deficit just how important it is to get back to maintenance and rejigging what your goals are. So going from deficit calories and expecting to lose weight to then, okay, now I'm just going to really focus on health and improving my training, whether that's at home or in the gym. It's obviously like more obvious when you're in the gym, you see like your lifts and stuff go up. But just be mindful that that is a pretty common occurrence once you finish a deficit. That said, let's just quickly jump into the data and I'll tell you guys how I went. I was fine with my calories. It wasn't like oh my God, I finished and now I want to eat all this food. I did have 2 higher days on the weekend. So after the 2 higher days, I gained 400 grams and I maintained that on Tuesday. I then went up 200 grams on Wednesday. I stayed the same on Thursday, and then I dropped 100 grams on Friday, stayed the same on Saturday, and then dropped 100 grams on Sunday. On Saturday and Sunday, I had 2 higher days, so maintaining the hybrid of lower Monday to Friday and then higher on Saturday and Sunday. So I was 1645, so the extra 200 calories from the deficit. So it's still a deficit for my body, but it is just more food. So your body does just take time to adjust to that. It's not going to be fat that you're gaining. It's just water, glycogen, and food in your gut. So I saw a drop after the 1885 first day, and then because I'm filming this on a Monday, I'll just clue you in, I maintained that same one after 2 days of eating more food. So overall in the first week, I've gone up 186 grams. So I'm happy with that. It's a kind of consistent increase. It wasn't like a huge spike, and that's kind of what you want to see. A bit of a spike as food increases, and then it'll sort of taper down or level out. But just remember, the goal isn't to lose more fat. And I know it's like, oh, I'm still in a deficit, I might, and that was definitely the mindset I had going into it, but I just had to check myself and be like, the goal is to just get more food and maintain and see some increases and then just maintain it. So compared to my lowest weigh-in overall, I'm only up 400 grams from that lowest weigh-in to the final weigh-in last week. Is that right? Oh no, 500 grams. Honestly, it doesn't even matter. These numbers, like, they're literally just data to tell me whether the deficit was working, which it was, at a rate that I wanted it to work at, which it was, and now I'm reverse dieting. I just want to make sure I'm not gaining too quickly and I'm able to maintain the habits that I was using throughout the deficit and just keep going with this lifestyle. So what I've done during the reverse is add in obviously more food calorie wise, but I have kept my main structure the same. And I think this is really important that I wanted to speak about. So I just wanted to highlight, a lot of people do end deficits being quite restricted. Towards the end, I was really just focusing on maximizing my volumes. So I was probably not eating the higher calorie treat-like food. So you may have some cravings and stuff for that kind of food. I was really fortunate with the higher days. I just felt like all my cravings were really hit for the higher calorie food because I am a big volume eater. So like the lower calorie, higher volume foods, just to keep me fuller and satiated during the days when the calories are low. If you're someone that's sort of eating all the foods you love throughout the entire diet, then you're probably going to finish the diet with a lot less urge or feelings that you need to eat all these foods that you sort of didn't eat. But because I had those higher days, I felt like I was really enjoying my food the whole way through. It's not like I've finished and I've felt like, oh, I want to try this and that and go out there and have this treat. Also, because I'm on this diet with my gut health and everything, there are a lot of foods that I can't have whether I was in a deficit or not. It's just triggering for my gut. So I've kept the main structure where it's like breakfast, lunch and dinner and then a snack, and then I might add in a dessert or take out the snack and have a dessert. I'm basically having like 3 main big meals as like my base plus a snack. But I think a lot of people start to play with and manipulate their calories at this point to be like, cool, I'm gonna have like really low cal breakfast, lunch and dinner because they're like my set meals, but I'm gonna like have heaps of calories for this like big treat here and a big treat there and every day, and it just starts to throw out the structure you've worked so hard to build during the deficit. And if your base diet is off and you're sort of skipping it to fit in calories elsewhere, then you're not getting the right nutrients to help your body, because the reverse diet is essentially like a recovery phase where you're recovering from the stress you put on your body in the deficit. So just make sure you're eating true to yourself and what you did during the deficit, but just greater quantities. You're getting as many whole foods as you can and you're just maintaining that consistency. It's really important just to check yourself and make sure you're just sticking to the process, because this part is so sensitive. Like your body's just telling you to eat more because it has been in a state of deprivation from being in a deficit, and it's like, great, now I'm just going to tell you to eat, and it's pushing you, and it's not like you're mentally weak or you don't have the discipline to stick to the reverse. It's literally like you're fighting against your body, and you kind of have been this whole time, and that's compounded over the weeks you've been in a deficit. So just be mindful of that. I find it really helps me when I'm like, oh, like I really want to eat more food, even though it's not part of my plan and my process and the meals I've planned for myself. And I just remind myself, I'm like, yeah, no, that your body is going to encourage you to do that. And you're like, oh yeah, well, I'm in control. So I make the decisions, and it's just comforting knowing that it's not just you all of a sudden undoing all of the work that you've done in the deficit. I realize as well, I'm planning on showing you guys my first picture and my final picture. I took photos every single week. And then when I finished the diet, like the deficit part, I feel like I was feeling leaner the week before, and I think it's got to do with my cycle. And so I didn't take photos because I was like, oh, I'll wait for a couple of days. Like I don't want to take them right after my refeed days, high days. I'm just probably going to be feeling more watery. I just really want to like see the work I've put in. And then I just still haven't taken them, and it's been like a week. But I think it's kind of cool in a way because I'm not obsessed with what I look like or the results or the scale or anything. And I'm really excited to see how I handle the reverse and then to maintain and then to drop back into the deficit again in a few weeks' time. I've built the habits and I've proved to myself that I'm really capable of doing this. I put a TikTok up and it was like this trend. You speak about something that, you know, is really good and really positive in your life, but you can't help but think about the way things were and kind of miss that. And so I made one, and it's a joke, but it's like, you know, my body, I'm so healthy, I'm stronger than ever, healthier than ever, in the best relationship with food than ever. Sometimes I think about how super lean I was, and it's so weird because I look back on those pictures and all I see is the photo and not the feeling. And the feeling was like, I didn't think I was lean enough, whatever the hell that means then. And I didn't feel awesome. I wasn't training awesome. So it's just like, stop getting so attached to this image and remember how it actually felt. And the fact that if you don't feel lean then, when I was definitely lean, like abs popping, stepping on stage, I'm never going to. So I think that's just a really important reminder to just be happy where you're at all times and proud of yourself. And you can just, all you can do is take one step at a time, one day at a time, and improve yourself that way. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this sit down chat. For this week, I'm trying to decide if I do like a weekly vlog or if I just kind of resume normal vlogging where I'll do like a weekly YouTube with like a topic, or I don't know. I haven't really figured it out yet. I'm just gonna see what I'm feeling. If you guys have suggestions, let me know. There was a request for a life update. There was a request for a lower body real-time workout. So keep the requests coming because it makes my job easier, which is, you know, sitting down and coming up with ideas. Just joking. I'm a creative ideas machine, manifesting, right? Guys, just because it's Monday and the plan has updated for the week ahead, I may as well just update you now. So because it was a really consistent sort of increase and then plateau, I mean, I don't know if plateau is the right word, but just maintaining that weight, the increase of calories this week has been only an extra 20 calories this week. So typically when I run a reverse, I might add 50 to 100 calories every 1 to 2 weeks. So typically I kind of anticipated I would stay on the same calories for this next week, but we're adding in 20 calories. It's really not that big a deal. Honestly, the extra energy that I have now from eating more food means I'm probably moving a lot more and burning that anyway. So it's just good practice to sort of slowly increase the calories. That's the change. The increase has been to carbohydrates. Protein is staying at 150. So that's gone up 10 grams from the last week of the deficit. I'm on 45 grams of fat and the rest is carbs. I think it's 175 grams of carbs. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining. I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and it's so cool knowing that like there were so many of you guys doing the deficit with me. This whole way through, my message has been just how good that maintenance period was for me and setting myself up for a successful deficit. By the way, if you want to subscribe, like, comment, turn post notifications on, all the things, you can do that too. I always forget to tell you. I hope you guys actually do it. I would be interested to see if this call to action actually works. Anyway, do it now. Okay guys, that's it. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Mwah.